Welcome back to the channel, guys, and to the first and hopefully not last installment in what I'm calling Mega March, a full month dedicated to covering the Mega Man series. And what better way to kick off the series than the first Mega Man game I've ever played, Mega Man X. Mega Man X is the first spin-off series after the classic Mega Man series, releasing in 1993 on the SNES. Set roughly 100 years after the end of the original series, it follows a new blue bomber built by Dr. Light, Mega Man X, in a future where machines aren't bound by the 3 laws of robotics, and are capable of thinking for themselves and disobeying their human masters. X works for the Maverick Hunters, an organization dedicated to taking down Reploids who go Maverick, the term meaning essentially that they go crazy, either because they malfunction or have been infected by the Maverick virus, though some Reploids turn Maverick of their own free will, bringing up the argument on whether or not going Maverick means you actually went crazy or decided to just think for yourself. It's important to note that X himself technically isn't a Reploid, Reploids being a race of robots built from X's designs, essentially replicating X himself. Like the original series, this game is a platformer, running through levels, shooting down enemies, and fighting a boss at the end. But it would bring a few changes to the series to differentiate itself from its older brother. First is that X could wall jump, allowing him to dodge moves easier instead of just dashing or jumping. Second, X had heart containers to increase his health permanently, and energy containers to replenish his health if he was in a pinch. Third was the armor system. Scattered across 4 levels, X can find capsules left by Dr. Light that allows him to dash, smash rocks, armor that would let him take less damage, and a buster upgrade that would let him do a stronger charge shot, and also charge his special moves. And finally, the game makes use of ride armor, large armor suits that X can briefly use to bulldoze normal enemies throughout a level for a brief time. The series also had a stronger focus on the story and characters, with X portrayed as a pacifist struggling with fighting against others, and more fleshed out side characters, and villains with a little more personality, at least in later games. Instead of an evil scientist like Dr. Wily, the main villain was a Reploid named Sigma. Once the leader of the Maverick Hunters, he became the very thing he swore to fight, turning several hunters Maverick with him, and starting a war against humanity. Like its older brother, the series followed the same format of fighting 8 different bosses, each one giving you a weapon that was strong against the other, and once you beat them, you would storm the main villain's stronghold. However, it had a stronger focus on exploration, the previously mentioned heart containers, energy tanks, and armor parts giving you a reason to revisit previous levels, with some items only obtainable after you'd beaten a certain boss and got his special weapon. Not only that, but the order you chose to beat bosses could change the level of another boss. For example, beating Chill Penguin stage would freeze over Flame Mammoth's level, getting rid of his instant death lava, and if you beat Storm Eagle before beating Spark Mandrill, his airship would crash into Spark's power plant, getting rid of the electrical floor, but also darkening certain areas. Starting the game, X is thrown onto a desolated highway, with machines destroying the area. It's a simple stage that teaches you the basics, and once you reach the end, you'll face off against Sigma's right-hand man, and your rival of the game, Vile. His design is based off of Boba Fett, so much that his original name of TheOVA had to be changed just in case Lucasfilms wanted to sue. He's arrogant and loves destruction, and serves as the game's first boss. The fight with him is brief, as he's basically unbeatable while he's in his ride armor, hitting X with an unblockable attack once he takes a certain amount of damage. Thankfully, X is saved, a charge shot hitting Vile off-screen, blowing off his arm and forcing him to flee. The attack belongs to X's partner, Zero, the blonde-haired, red Reploid who serves as the dual protagonist of the series in later games. It's not revealed till the 4th game, but Zero is actually the final creation of Dr. Wily. After the fight, X is down because he couldn't beat Vile, but Zero gives him a pep talk, telling him he still hasn't reached his full potential, before leaving to go find Sigma's forces. From here, the game takes on the familiar screen of choosing which of the 8 Maverick bosses you want to fight. I won't go over every stage, but I will talk about how much I love the music in this game. Mega Man X and the whole series in general has some of my favorite video game music. It just gets you so pumped while you're listening, and it really motivates you to get through a level. Once all the Maverick bosses have been beaten, you can proceed on to Sigma's fortress. The first stage has you ascending these annoying moving platforms before confronting Vile again, who has managed to capture Zero. Despite being a lot stronger this time around, X is still thrown into an unwinnable battle with Vile, who stuns him again and prepares to finish him off. But Zero breaks free from his containment, hopping onto Vile's ride armor and sacrificing himself to destroy it. Now X can properly fight Vile, destroying the war machine before rushing to his friend's side. Zero says it's up to X to finish the job and stop Sigma, giving X his buster if he didn't get the armor buster upgrade earlier. With that, Zero dies. Though, he'll be back. Zero always comes back. Making his way through the fortress, X will rematch against the Mavericks he's already fought, along with some new bosses, including a giant spider, a wall, and this weird T-Rex tank thing. Once taken care of, he can finally come face to face with Sigma, taking out his robot dog first, before engaging him. His first form has him using a lightsaber, jumping off the walls to attack X. Once that form is defeated, his head will float up and merge with the wall, just like I said in my Mega Man Legends video. Once you beat his first form, his body explodes and he pulls a Sigma, merging his head with a large Reaverbot body embedded in the wall, giving him this huge wolf body to fight with, his head being his only weakness. After destroying his second body, Sigma will rage at X, asking why he would stop him and how he prevented a new age for Reploids. Unlike how he's portrayed in later games, it seems that Sigma willingly chose to rebel against his creators for the sake of his own race, as opposed to being infected by the Maverick virus. Maybe. Blowing up, his fortress starts self-destructing with X teleporting away and watching it crash into the sea, like Simon Belmont watching Dracula's castle crumble away. As he watches from the cliffside, he's glad that the war is over, but questions if there was any other way he could have ended the conflict, and wonders how long he'll have to continue to fight. With that, the credits roll, Sigma reappearing at the end to reveal he's still alive, his spirit still intact, and intending to find a new body to continue fighting X. And that's Mega Man X. In comparison to the classic series, it's a step down in terms of difficulty. A combination of the new mechanics along with the energy containers and armor making it much easier to survive levels and bosses. It's a step up in story though. While this game can feel bare bones, especially compared to other entries in the series, it takes time to flesh out the characters, their motivations, and the world of Mega Man X, with solid level designs, amazing music, and cool secrets like being able to unlock the Hadoken. Mega Man X was a solid start to the series. But Fuzzy, I hear you say, that can't be the whole video, right? Of course not. After the abomination that was X7, and the much better received but underperforming X8, Capcom decided it was time to reboot their two main Mega Man series, giving both games their own distinct looks and feel. And in 2006, the remake for Mega Man X was released on the PSP, now called Maverick Hunter X. Given a fresh coat of paint, the game was completely remade with 3D graphics, but with a simple, more colorful look as opposed to the 3D used in the PS2 era games. It also carried over the voice actors from X8, with Domon Kashu himself, Mark Gartha voicing X, and his mentor turned enemy Sigma voiced by David Pettit, aka Master Asia.
Answer me, Domon! The school of the undefeated in the east!
The winds of the king!
Zenshin!
Keiretsu!
Tenpa Kyoran! Look! The east is burning red!
On top of the new look, the game's music would get some amazing remixes, including and the characters would be fleshed out even more, with Vile in particular, going from generic henchman to a loose cannon who causes excessive damage when taking out Maverick, and who's obsessed with proving he's better than X. Similar to the more recent games, Maverick bosses would now talk to X before starting a battle, each one having their own reason for going Maverick, giving them a bit of character as opposed to the mute bosses they were in the original. The game itself plays the same, with boss weaknesses remaining the same and level layouts being tweaked slightly. The big exception being Sigma's Fortress, as the levels were redesigned and the boss order was changed up. It also changed up the placement of the armor capsules, swapping around their locations and technically giving you the option to play the game without the armor, unlike the original where at least the leg parts were mandatory. I won't go through the whole story again since it's mostly the same, however I will talk about the second playable character in the game, and surprisingly, it's Vile. After beating the main campaign as X, you'll unlock Vile mode, a what-if story where Vile decides to do his own thing and fights against Sigma and his Mavericks. Not because it's the right thing to do, but to prove he's better than X. Honestly, I'm impressed with the work Capcom put into this, as it would have been so easy to make Vile a palette swap of X. Instead, he gets a whole arsenal of weapons to himself. Vile has 3 weapon types: his arms, shoulder cannon, and legs. Defeating a Maverick will unlock a weapon for each one, and you can mix and match them depending on the situation. His energy meter is shared between his weapons, increasing with every Maverick beaten. Unlike X, his weapon energy replenishes by itself. The drawback though is that Vile is slow when using certain weapons, easily making him vulnerable to getting hit. His levels are the same as X's, but with different enemy placements, and the heart and energy tanks move to different locations. Also, Vile starts off squishier than X, taking more damage than he does. Don't be surprised if you die a couple times, even in the first level. He also lacks a dash move, making him a lot slower. However, he does get more use of the ride armor compared to X, running on a timer that can be replenished when you pick up weapon energy. This whole side story sheds more light on Vile's behavior, suggesting that his excessive force and attitude stems from an inferiority complex in regards to X. Probably best demonstrated when Sigma initially frees him, and he can't fathom why Sigma considers him special or a threat in the least.
I need your help to defeat X.
To defeat X?
Yes, in order to ensure our future and speed along our evolution.
What on earth are you talking about? What could that worrywart Hunter possibly do for us?
His worrying. That is precisely the quality that will prove beneficial to our cause. He alone possesses that ability. He thinks more deeply than the rest of us. He feels. Normal Reploids are no match for his heart. But he is unaware of his incredible power.
Sorry to burst your bubble, but I'm the one that's gonna change the world.
Now, one last thing to cover before wrapping up this video, and that's the OVA that came with Maverick Hunter X, Day of Sigma. It's a prequel set just before the events of the first game, starting off with a large mechanoid causing havoc in a city. Soon, X is dropped in on the scene, nailing it with a charge shot and disabling it. Chill Penguin and his squad come in to subdue it, but it reactivates and takes out his team. It continues to rampage, but Zero manages to injure it, giving X a chance to hit its power generator to permanently take it out. But another Maverick Hunter is being held hostage, and he hesitates to fire. Sigma swoops in and takes it out himself, injuring the Maverick Hunter, but taking out the mechanoid. As the hunters do cleanup duty, Sigma talks to X, asking him why he hesitated, and reminding him that his hesitation could lead to more destruction in the future. At their base, Zero gives X a pep talk, and they discuss what causes Reploids and machines to go Maverick, with Vile being escorted past them in handcuffs. In a large building elsewhere, Sigma is seen speaking to an old man hooked up to some machinery. This is Dr. Kane. He's the one who found X's capsule and is the one who created the Reploid race, based off of X's designs. They discuss X's potential, with Dr. Kane stating that X's hesitation and worry is actually a strength, and what makes him superior to other Reploids. That perhaps through his example, Reploids could evolve even further. Back at Hunter HQ, Zero finishes a training sequence that mirrors the earlier Mechanoid fight. Like X, he hesitates too, but he still takes the shot and ends up hitting the hostage. He's soon joined by Storm Eagle, who tells him that they have a briefing about the Mechanoid that went crazy. Turns out it was being controlled remotely by someone, and they track the signal to the outskirts of the city. X and Zero are dispatched to the location, but only find bodies. Whoever was responsible took out his partners and ran with the data. Later on, more of the same type of robot are attacking, but before X and Zero can intercept them, they get a message that Vile has been broken out of his detention center. On the scene, they find all the hunters and guards are dead, Zero remarking it couldn't possibly be Vile, and most likely the work of the same hacker from before. Their navigator sends them another message, telling them that they've tracked down the source of the hacking of all the mechanoloids, sending the pair to a missile base outside of the city. When they arrive, they find that Sigma has already beaten them there. And hold back your surprise, but it turns out that Sigma was behind everything. He attacks Zero, but he manages to dodge his commander's surprise attack, having pieced the evidence together before. Sigma praises his detective skills before grabbing him and taunting X by using him as a shield. Like earlier, X can't bring himself to shoot. Sigma smugly rubbing it in before slashing Zero with his beam saber. Sigma then grabs X by the throat, threatening to fire missiles at Abel's city if he doesn't stand down. Unfortunately, X falls for his bluff, doing as he says, with Sigma firing the missiles anyways. We're shown a quick scene to the other hunters watching the missiles fall, landing in several spots in the city and seemingly killing Dr. Kane, which we'll get back to in a minute. Back at the missile base, Sigma stabs X through the gut, bringing up X's ability for limitless potential before X flashes back to a scene of his creation. He wakes up facing his creator, Dr. Light, who gives him the name X, a variable representing limitless potential. Dr. Light explains he's the first type of new robot, one capable of thinking for himself. The scene fades out as X depowers, reawakening when he looks more complete, and Dr. Light looking considerably older now. He apologizes to X, telling him the world isn't ready for a machine capable of thought, that the name X also has connotations of danger, mirroring what Sigma had said before. X promises he will fight for justice and hope. As Dr. Light starts to seal him away, the doctor smiles and reassures him, knowing that he'll be the world's only hope one day. After that scene, X's forehead crystal starts to glow, letting him break away from Sigma before his hand starts to shine. And in a scene straight out of G Gundam,
Here I go! Sonic!
he attacks Sigma with his new power, giving him the iconic scars he has for the rest of the series. Unfortunately, this power-up is only temporary, as X's injuries cause him to power down. Sigma laughs, impressed, truly believing that X holds the key to the future of Reploids. The OVA ends with Zero retrieving X and getting him to safety, while Sigma laughs maniacally over the destruction he caused in Abel's city, taunting X and waiting for the day that they can fight again. Wow, that's quite a bit to unpack. Like I said before, the OVA was there to set up the events of the first game, along with adding some new things to create the new continuity of the rebooted X series. One big thing is the possible death of Dr. Kane in the OVA. In the main series, the Doctor shows up several times, working as X's mission control in X2 and being the one who rebuilds Zero, and the last mention of him being in X4, as he was the one who created Repliforce as a military organization to support the Maverick Hunters before Sigma tricked them into fighting against each other. So it's interesting to wonder what the series would have looked like without him being involved anymore. Though my guess is they just introduce a new character to take his role, or just avoid addressing it altogether. Also, like I brought up before, it gave Sigma more motivation outside of taking over the world. Wanting to advance and evolve the Reploid race, his inability or reluctance to kill X stemming from his desire to see his true potential. Overall, I really like the OVA. The animation is solid, the voice acting is pretty good all around, and we get some understanding on why X is the way he is, and why Reploids are so prone to going Maverick, Reploids having skipped the observation and testing period that X went through. Considering the less than stellar quality of the different animated Mega Man series, it's a bummer we didn't get a show based on Maverick Hunter X. Wrapping up the video, I absolutely love the X series, and have no problem revisiting the original or Maverick Hunter X. They're simple to pick up and play, have some amazing music, have cool extras like the armor or the Hadoken that encourage you to explore levels, and in the remake's case, a brand new character after you beat it. You can beat the original in about an hour and a half, and Maverick Hunter taking a little bit longer, especially if you decide to play as Vile. It's hard to rank one game over the other though, as I think both are equally worth playing even if Maverick Hunter X took a dip in difficulty. The original is a lot easier to find as it's been ported and thrown in collections several times now. Maverick Hunter X not so much, effectively stuck on the PSP and Vita. Come on Capcom, was it so much to ask for you to include it with the Legacy Collection? Remaster it in HD and sell it to me as a digital download. I'll pay whatever you want. With the return of the classic series with Mega Man 11 and the overall good sales of the various Mega Man collections, I'm hopeful that Capcom will return to the X series and give us a proper X9. Either one that brings a final end to the series and bridges it with the Zero series, or just another adventure with X, Zero, and Axel, I guess. And that's the video. Thanks for watching, guys. Like I said at the beginning, this whole month will be centered around Mega Man videos, though I'll still be doing my usual Let's Plays in between them. Sorry for the long wait between my regular content. If you watched my Legacy of Goku video, you know I was planning on doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories next, but the game ended up being more grindy than I thought, and I went through a bit of a slump in February. But I do plan to cover it. Eventually. I'm hoping to adhere to a schedule of one regular video every 2 weeks, but that comes down to my free time and what games I want to talk about. This month I plan to have about 4 videos out on Mega Man, averaging about 1 a week. Thankfully I started planning in February, so I have most of the footage I need recorded. Just have to write my scripts and edit it all together. Again, thanks for watching, guys. If you like my content, be sure to give the video a like and comment down below. And if you want to see more of my content, I'd appreciate it if you subscribed. I'm FuzzySlippers, and I'll see you later. Peace.